What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay in the building. We is back again with another video. Now, before we get this video started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys share this video. We have a game of the week we're going to talk about for a little bit, man. We have Prairie A&M versus Florida A&M. This game will be at, I think, at 4 o'clock my time, Eastern time, on ESPNU. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh, man. First off, this has been a crazy year so far in terms of upsets. I think we are a little over halfway done with the season. FAMU sits at the top of the East, while Prairie is tied for first with Alcorn State and I believe Southern in the West. That's a wild, wild west over there, man. We are going to talk about them as well. But this game right here, oh, man, this could be the SWAC championship game at FAMU as well. FAMU is coming into this game on a 17 home game win streak. And it could be in danger. I'm not going to lie to you. In terms of why I believe, because, first of all, it's homecoming. Now, I don't know what's been going on with so many of these teams losing homecoming games, but it's been a wild year. Jackson State lost theirs. Pine Bluff recently lost theirs, and it has been a while. Grambling State lost theirs, and Grambling State don't lose homecoming games. They don't lose at homecoming. So for them to lose, and as bad as they did, all right, yeah, it's been a wild year. But FAMU should be heavily favored in this game. Should be heavily favored. But, man, the way I want to speak about FAMU offensively for a moment, because I'm going to tell you this. In terms of defense for FAMU, I believe in them every week. Look, they come to play every week. Last week, it was an anomaly because they normally don't give up more than one touchdown, and they gave up 3, But, listen, Texas ain't – look, you know how I knew I really wasn't worried about FAMU losing to Texas Southern? Because they have probably the worst rushing defense in the SWAC, and FAMU has one of the better rushing attacks in the SWAC. So I knew eventually. And you know what's crazy? FAMU in the second half barely threw the ball. I think Musa only threw like 12, 13 passes in the second half alone. They really ran Texas Southern off the field in the second half, and it was just a massacre. They came back and won that game. But I wasn't worried about FAMU so much in that game. But they can't play like that against Prairie, though. They really can't play like that versus them. Even though Prairie is, I think, 3-1, 4-1 in the West. Offensively, though, they're not as explosive as I thought they would be heading into this year. They average about 18 points a game, but they give up over 30 points a game, which is not good. Their passing defense is near the bottom. Rushing defense is near the bottom. But they play very well against SWAC opponents. And so I'm not, so listen, Prairie, they are going to play very well in this game. I'm sure of it. I'm very sure of it. Now, here's my problem with FAMU offensively. This year, they still have not played a complete game offensively. Like, there's been quarters, there's been halves where offensively they just didn't show up. Well, they start off slow. Example, West Florida, Valley State, last week, where in the first half they just start off slow and they don't show up, and then in the second half they go on this offensive explosion. Like against Southern, they didn't score until midway in the second quarter. Like, they'll have 16-point quarters, 21-point quarters, but then they'll get into first half without scoring at all. So, FAMU really, but it all starts with the quarterback. Because let me tell you this. Me personally, I think FAMU collectively, in terms of on offense, they have the best offensive line group. They have the best running back group. Well, I think second best because I think Grambling State probably has the best running back group, but we'll get to that. I think in terms of wide receivers, I think they have the best group in the SWAC to go along with their tight ends. I think in terms of pass catchers, I think FAMU has the best offensive weapons in the SWAC. The problem that I have with this team is that Jeremy Musa is too inconsistent at times. Like, check this out, right? Jeremy Musa leads the SWAC in completions, in attempts, in passing yards, and in touchdowns. He leads the SWAC in 4 categories, right? He's also second in the SWAC in interceptions, and he's near the bottom in terms of completion percentage. So you know what that tells me? Is that he's damn near reckless with the ball. He's reckless. Like, FAMU has way too many weapons on offense for Jeremy Musa to be inconsistent. Like, how he played versus Valley State in 3 quarters, that's totally unacceptable. How he looked in the first half against Texas Southern, that was unacceptable. How he looked in the first half versus, how he looked in the second half versus Jackson State, how he looked during when they played against West Florida in the first half, he just has way too many halves and quarters where he's inconsistent throwing the ball. And it kind of holds FAMU back a little bit from being their full potential. Because FAMU could easily be averaging 35 to 40 points a game. Easily. They could have easily put 40 points on Jackson State. They could have easily beat South Florida. FAMU should be undefeated. FAMU should be undefeated, averaging 35 to 40 points a game. They really could be. It's just that with the inconsistent play at the quarterback spot. So hopefully, Jeremy Musa could play better, and they could really, this team could really be averaging 35, 40 points a game. Now, in this game here, luckily, they're not going up against a very explosive offense, but they do have a good running game. Like I said, I like Ahmad Antoine. I like Caleb Johnson at the running back spot. I also like Conley when he runs the ball. He's not consistent throwing the ball either, but he can use his legs pretty well. So I do like that about him. Defensively, at times they're inconsistent too. Now the thing that Prairie is gonna have a problem with is that Alabama or FAMU can run the ball. They have a multitude of weapons that they can use, whether it's running the ball or throwing the ball. FAMU has a lot of weapons on the field. Now, Kendall Thomas, I think he didn't come back in the game last week because he was hurt. So I don't know what's the deal with that. If he's gonna come back, if he's gonna be ready to play this week or not, I'm not sure. But that would be a big loss if that does happen, because Keyshawn Johnson on that D line is pretty tough. So so we'll see what Prairie A&M does. But for me, in order for Prairie to have a chance, you need to cause turnovers. Listen, you know that FAMU or Musa is kind of reckless with the ball, so he will give you opportunities. You just have to make it happen. You have to catch the ball. Now, they don't really sack the quarterback all that much. I think they only have 12 sacks in 7 games, so that's not a lot. But they do have 6 interceptions. So they can. I think that's like probably maybe fourth or fifth in the conference. So they will. So they can catch the ball when given an opportunity. But you do know that Musa is gonna throw it up for grabs. So you are gonna have your opportunities in this game to have turnovers. You have to cause some turnovers, and you're gonna have to win time of possession, because that's what FAMU does often in most games, is that they win time of possession because they do have a real good running game that they fall back on. And also another issue that I have with FAMU, y'all have way too many penalties. Dog, this is the second most penalized team in the SWAC. Like they have a lot of, they average about 7 to 8 penalties a game. So they really have to cut back on the penalties. But FAMU could easily score 35 points in this game if they calm down on the penalties, if Musa is able to complete the ball the way he's supposed to, and if the running game gets going. But I do have FAMU winning this game. I think they should win this game fairly easy, in my humble opinion, at least by 14 points, at least. Now, the way Prairie will be able to win this game is if they win time of possession and if it's a low-scoring game. I believe if FAMU scores at least 21, 24 points, I don't think Prairie is going to have enough offense to compete with FAMU. So defensively, Prairie is going to have to bring it. That's the only way that I see Prairie winning this game. But hopefully that offense shows up. I do want to see a good game. I do think FAMU in the third or fourth quarter may end up pulling away, and FAMU is going to end up winning this game. But this is going to be a good one, So I am excited to see what's going to happen. But, man, Prairie needs this game, man. So we're going to see what happens. And I think FAMU could clinch the East if they not only win this game, but if Alabama A&M loses as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, they can still clinch it even if them losing because, no, not this week. But they would have to win this week and Alabama A&M loses for them to officially clinch it. But to my knowledge, I think they'll be able to clinch it here. So we'll see what happens, man. But shout out to y'all. Shout out to FAMU. Shout out to Prairie A&M, man. We're going to see what happens, man. We out.